Good evening, everyone. My name is Guillermo Jimenez, and I work at Agros International.
And I'm Dawn Hagan, a longtime friend of Agros. Guillermo and I are so excited to be your MCs for tonight's virtual Tierras de Vida Gala. On behalf of Agros, both here and in Latin America, thank you so much for joining tonight's Tierras de Vida Gala live stream.
We're so excited to gather as a community to help families in rural Latin America break out of poverty. In this difficult time, we're reminded that Agros is a family. Somos Agros, Somos Familia.
Tierras de Vida means lands of life. And as you'll hear this evening, one of the foundational ways that Agros transforms the lives of farming families in Latin America is by giving them the opportunity to own land. When you have worked as a day laborer for little to no money, or when your family has squatted on land for generations, then becoming a landowner is truly transformational.
Land gives a family food to eat, an income, and a place to call home. Land gives life to farmers today and to families for generations to come. And that's why this annual event is named Tierras de Vida, Lands of Life.
We have an ambitious goal tonight. With your help, we need to raise $400,000 to help farming families in rural Latin America break out of poverty. And thanks to the generosity of a group of lead donors, every gift made by midnight tonight will be matched up to the first $200,000 raised. These lead donors invite us to follow their example and be as generous as we possibly can this evening. Their match will double the impact of your gift tonight, which stretches your impact in the lives of so many farming families.
We also want to thank our community partners supporting Tierras de Vida. Shilshaw Development, Ellis Lee and McKinstry, Panatoni Development Company, Cheddar Group, and Madison Park Capital Advisors. These leaders in our community have gotten us even closer to reaching our $400,000 goal tonight. Thank you.
This is a hard time for the global community. I know the health and economic crisis we face have touched all of us in some way. And it is an especially difficult time for those already living in rural poverty. When the world's problems feel so big, it can be hard to know how we can make things better.
Tonight, you have the opportunity to create meaningful change for our brothers and sisters in rural communities in Latin America. Your support can provide a new mother with the pre- and postnatal care she needs to raise a healthy kid. You can help give a family the seeds and the tools they need to launch a successful agribusiness. Even just $15 can give a hungry child a week's worth of nutritious milk.
Tonight, you'll hear more about how you can deliver hope and opportunity to those facing poverty in rural Latin America. We are so excited to be joined by some amazing special guests who will share what inspired them to be part of this Agros family.
Don, it is time to introduce one of those special guests right now. Joining us from his studio in Colorado, he's an internationally acclaimed guitarist who is affectionately known as the Acoustic Ninja. He has played sold-out concerts in 28 countries and counting, from high-tech performance halls in South Korea and Italy to even a couple of Agros villages in Guatemala. Please welcome Trace BUNDY.
Hey everyone, it's Trace BUNDY here in Boulder, Colorado. Hope you're all doing well tonight. And I wanted to thank everyone for being here to support Agros tonight. They're an amazing organization. I've seen firsthand the work they do in Central America, and I'm honored to be here tonight. So continue to support them, show them your love, and let's just blow them away with our generosity tonight. Hey, I'm gonna play you a song that I wrote called Missile Bell. And Missile Bell is actually inspired by my trips to Central America with Agros. And so a little bit of a backstory. Some of you know that Guatemala had a really bloody civil war in the 80s. And there was a village in the Ixchil area of Guatemala. And the people of the village that did not want to get caught up in the war ended up fleeing up into the hills. And they lived up there above their village for many years, I think something like 8 or 10 years. And finally, when the war ended, they were able to come back to their original plot of land and start to rebuild it with the help of Agros. And so as they're rebuilding it, everything's completely destroyed, but they're rebuilding it and with anything they can find. and somebody found an old missile shell from the war. And this would have been a missile that had destroyed part of their village, and it would have probably represented a dark part of their past. But rather than destroying it or getting rid of it, they had the crazy idea of hoisting that missile up on a rope and turning that into their bell. And they put this one in this village on the side of their school, and they would ring that bell to start school and to call town meetings together. And I just think, man, that took so much courage to take something destructive to them and transform it into something beautiful. And that really inspired me. And like, I want to live my life that way, you know what I mean? And so I wrote this song after that trip. And as I play the song, you may be able to kind of almost hear some of the story. So there's some really dark, heavier moments of the song, which to me represent the war. And then there's some more joyful moments. And at the end of the song, I'm going to play these harmonics on the guitar that are going to represent them ringing the bell for the first time. So I hope you enjoy. Here's Missile Bell. Thanks a lot, everyone. Hey, now back to all the crew in Seattle at Agros. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Thanks, Trace. So glad you could celebrate with us tonight, and thank you for sharing that beautiful piece. Throughout the night, we will be sharing messages from our brothers and sisters in Central America. Agros partners have worked hard to break out of the cycle of poverty. Many have endured the hardships of a brutal civil war that ravaged their country. Others work hard for years as day laborers, making as little as $2 a day. Because of COVID-19's economic impacts, our partners still face a lot of uncertainty. But thanks to people like you, they have a chance to move toward prosperity and a better future. We're so grateful to work alongside our partners and to hear their stories. Our first message is from Domingo Daniel Cruz Sanchez from Guatemala. Take a listen.
Mi nombre es Domingo Daniel Cruz Sánchez, soy el presidente COCODE de la agroaldea La Esperanza. Mi papá se llama Gabriel Cruz Córdoba, beneficiado por Agro, por eso estamos aquí en la comunidad. Vivíamos en Cotzal, en un lugar muy pequeño. Antes de venir aquí no teníamos terreno para construir una casa, teníamos necesidad de sembrar milpa, pero gracias a Agro que ya tenemos parcela para sembrar milpa, sembrar verdura. Sembramos arvejas, sembramos repollo, sembramos frijoles, sembramos diferentes clases de hortaliza.
Agros partners like Domingo have inspired me so much over the years. I hope you'll enjoy hearing from more Agros partners this evening. Agros has a long history of serving the poor in rural Latin America. Since 1984, Agros has served over 12,000 people across Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, Mexico, and El Salvador. Agros' holistic model continues to grow and evolve to meet some of the most pressing problems facing the most vulnerable populations in the region. Tonight, we're excited to announce the launch of a new Agros program that, with your help, will tackle one of the biggest problems in Central America. I am honored to introduce two people who have helped build the Agros community into what it is now. I admire their compassion and their vision, and I am excited for you to hear their stories tonight. I am thrilled to welcome Agros founder Skip Lee and Agros President and Executive Director Alberto Solano.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Guillermo. Good evening. My name is Alberto Solano, and I am the president of Agros International. And tonight I'm here with a good friend, a person who has inspired many, founder of Agros International, Skip Lee.
Thank you, Alberto. I'm really happy to be here. Well, I also welcome all of you to Tierras de Vida.
Skip, it's been 36 years since God inspired you to start Agros. How do you feel looking back?
I have a feeling of awe as I look back, because when I first got the idea, I myself called it a very crazy idea. The thought of bucking 400 years of history, helping the poor to own their own agricultural land. And I thought about Guatemala being a place to start. Well, as you know, Guatemala back then was at the height of a civil war, brutal civil war. So as I look back on that crazy idea without having had any notion of whether it could work or not, and now to look back and see the thousands of families, the thousands of acres of land that those families now can call their own. They have a deed with, they have a title with their names on it, something that they couldn't even have dreamed about. Wow, I'm just filled with awe and thanksgiving.
1984, the Shield Triangle, the epicenter of war in one of the most dangerous countries back then. It was crazy. Looking back, has land probably been solved?
I wish we could say yes. It certainly, we've solved it in the areas where we work, within the people that we help, the villages that have been created over all of these years. But the larger problem of land tenure, of land ownership, the disproportionate ownership of land with the rural poor on subsistence income, if any income at all, that still remains. That's a chronic problem that is still with us and probably will be for a long time.
However, 8,000 acres of land purchased and transferred in ownership. That's a great legacy.
Well, it's just, it's heartwarming to me to think of those families. You and I have both been to title ceremonies where they receive their titles, to see the joy, the absolute joy, sometimes tearful joy, over receiving that piece of paper that means so much to them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a wonderful thing to see over the years.
And Skip, before we go on, can you tell us about that jacket?
Yes, this jacket is a very, very special thing for me. I wear it once a year to the Tierras de Vida event. It was a gift from the elders of the village of Shetse in the Shield Triangle of Guatemala. It was a gift that was presented during a title ceremony. A gift by the elders. It is an elder's jacket, hand sewn, hand embroidered. So I feel a great warmth when I wear this jacket.
Well, it looks great on you.
Thank you. And I know you want one too someday.
I hope to have one. At least to earn it.
Yes. Now let me ask you a question, Alberto. COVID has been looming over the entire world. Latin America isn't exempt. Certainly our villagers in the countries in Central America are not exempt. Their lives were not easy before COVID. What's happened since COVID, and what are the particular problems because of COVID?
Skip, you said it right. It's been a very hard year. And if it's been hard here, imagine how difficult it has been in the highlands of Guatemala, in the Cordillera of Matagalpa, for families living below $1 a day. As you said, life was tough before. Now it's even tougher. Now it's a daily struggle. And initially our concern was how to keep those families safe, how to prevent the infection from actually reaching them. And because we knew that without a net, a support system with access to quality healthcare, those families are by themselves. So we wanted to help them prevent getting infected. But we knew that the bigger problem after that was going to be hunger. If families are not healthy, if families cannot mobilize, they cannot work, they cannot plant their fields, they won't be able to harvest anything. And keep in mind that the hunger season in Central America goes every year from January to April. And the only way to mitigate that is taking actions in the early months so those families can actually have something in their fields to bring to their plates. So we knew that it was not only a health crisis, but a hunger crisis, an economic crisis. And it's been like that. Not just because of the lack of food, but because of speculation. There's been a lot of people trying to make a profit from this crisis. And we have seen food prices skyrocket, 3 times their cost in a matter of weeks. Imagine the impact for those families living under $1 a day when they see their food, their inputs, their basic needs skyrocket like that because someone else is making a profit.
Well, you mentioned trying to help them in the early months. As I understand it, you and the staff up here, the staff in country, have been preparing and laying the foundations for a plan, not just the early months, but the early years of a child's life. So can you now share with us what this new program is about?
Absolutely, Skip. I'm happy to share about this new program to you and to the folks back at home. Tonight we're launching Guatemala Healthy Start. Guatemala Healthy Start, it's a program that has been designed to tackle the most important problem Guatemala has, which is chronic child malnutrition. In Guatemala and in the Ixchil Triangle, 3 of every 4 kids are chronically malnourished. We have the badge of dishonor of being the 3rd country in the world with the highest rates of chronic malnutrition. Guatemala Healthy Start is a 10-year program that has been designed to provide holistic solutions to help families not only overcome hunger and poverty, but build a prosperous life for themselves. In these 10 years, we're committed on working with you to reduce child malnutrition at least by half, and create meaningful path for prosperity for Ixchil families in Guatemala. So tonight, as we gather virtually for this Tierras de Vida, we want to invite you to continue working along the families in Central America, to continue supporting their dreams. We're coming tonight together as a community of service, as a community of faith, and we need your support to help those families move along. Thank you. Somos Agros, Somos Familia.
And I want to thank you too. It's been a pleasure to be here with you. Somos Agros, Somos Familia.
Mi nombre es Francisco Tomás Rodríguez. Vivo aquí en Agroaldea La Esperanza. Antes de conocer Agros, yo iba mucho a la finca. Y descuidamos a la familia porque cuando regresamos están enfermos. Y también, ¿por qué nos fuimos a la costa? Porque no tenemos donde, así como digo, ¿verdad? No tenemos donde terreno de cultivar la tierra para sembrar algo. Solo la casita que yo tenía en el pueblo, pero al fin acá, entonces ya el logro que yo tengo ahorita es porque ya no estoy yendo en las costas, ¿verdad? Ya no está sufriendo mis hijos. Organizaron a Agros, compraron este terreno y le agradezco a Fundación Agros porque él nos da la experiencia, número 1, de construir la casa. 2, es porque ya sembramos arveja, hortaliza así familiar, pero ahorita ya sembramos 13 o 15 cuerdas, ¿verdad? Entonces, esa es la prosperidad que he tenido con Agros, la experiencia que nos ha dejado Agros. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Alberto and Skip, and thank you, Francisco, for sharing your story with us. As Alberto said, Healthy Start is an exciting new Agros program. Together with you, we can help end hunger and malnutrition in the Ixchil region of Guatemala, giving a whole generation of children the chance to get a healthy start in life. Remember, just $15 can help give a hungry child nutritious milk for a week. We hope you will join us as we take on this new challenge. And remember, all gifts made before midnight tonight will be doubled by matching funds. Earlier this year, Agros was featured in travel author Rick Steves' latest documentary called Hunger and Hope. We learned so much from the experience, but we think it would be better for you to hear about it from Rick himself. Please welcome travel author and public television show host Rick Steves, joining us from his home in Edmonds.
Hey, I'm Rick Steves, and I'm happy to be with you today as we celebrate the work of Agros. You know, I've traveled a lot, and my favorite souvenir is bringing home a broader perspective and empathy for the other 96% of humanity. And when I've traveled in the developing world, I've seen vividly how half of the planet is trying to make it on $5 a day, and 10% of this planet is trying to live on $2 a day. These are people who are in extreme poverty. I made a TV show last year called Hunger and Hope, Lessons Learned in Ethiopia and Guatemala. My goal was to show what extreme poverty was and to also explain to Americans that today's development aid, modern development aid, is smart. While old-fashioned development aid may have made people more dependent, today's development aid makes people independent. It empowers them. It helps them want to stay home rather than leave searching for work, and it helps them connect with the global economy. That's what Agros does with its programs in Guatemala. I got to walk in the trenches with Agros workers and with hard local workers as they were connecting together and learning how to be smart farmers. I saw Agros aid in action. It's an inspiration. We met Pedro. Pedro used to cut sugarcane on the plantation. Now, with the help of Agros, Pedro has firm title to his land. And his children will own that land when Pedro's done farming it. And now Pedro, he grows corn for his family, but he is diversified. And he's got enough of a yield where he's growing a lot of extra crops, not to consume locally, but to export. They grow sugar peas. Pedro doesn't even eat sugar peas. They don't like sugar peas. I couldn't stop eating those sugar peas, but those will fetch a good price in London. Now, when Pedro walks through his fields during harvest time, he says, and I saw him say this, it's like I'm walking through money. He had dignity. He was working hard. He was a businessman. He owned his land. He was a beneficiary of smart development aid from Agros. And that means from you and me when we support Agros. We also visited the home of Katerina and Diego, a beautiful couple with beautiful children and with dignity. They owned their land. They had clean title to their land and their home. And Diego took me on a tour of his home. It was a humble home, but a beautiful home. It had a concrete floor, it had electricity, it had running water, and they were surrounded by a small farm where they diversified. They had the food for their family, and they had food for the market. They were even raising goats, so they had a small dairy industry. I saw the pride in Diego and Katerina as parents. I saw the dignity that they had as small business people and the independence they had because they had firm title to their land. And I saw that this was the result of Agros. This is the result of smart development aid. When I saw Pedro and Katerina and Diego and others, I saw that dignity. I saw in people reason to work hard at home and not flee to the big cities or go to the United States as immigrant laborers. I saw a world that was becoming more stable and more just. A very important new sensibility with modern practical development aid is the importance of good nutrition and good hygiene for children. Stunting is being targeted. A child needs not just enough calories, but smart calories in its first 1,000 days to be fully developed and to be able to work and produce for their entire lives. Agros has a new program. It's exciting. It's called the Healthy Start Program. And this is a good example of smart development aid. Targeting an indigenous region where stunting is a real problem, Agros is educating women. It's teaching them the importance of good nutrition and hygiene. It's helping mothers have financial independence and to be able to raise their kids healthy. It is realistic to end hunger, but it needs to be done by supporting smart development aid like we're doing when we support Agros. You know, I've been looking at this and I know that the world was on a trajectory to end hunger in our lifetimes, but in the last few years it's ticked up. It's gone from 2 billion to 1 billion in one generation. It got as low as 700 million, and now it's ticking up. In my TV show, I blamed the 3 C's. It was climate change, conflict, and corruption. And now there's a 4th C, COVID, adding crisis upon crisis. But there are people in the trenches, there's work to be done, and there's reason to develop and to invest in smart, pragmatic development aid through a caring NGO like Agros. In my show, I called it Hunger and Hope. There is hope, I've seen it, and it is this partnership between smart NGOs and hardworking locals connecting with our global economy. So this is our chance now to support Agros. I know the people at Agros. They're caring people. They have a Christian passion for the poor. There's a passion for smart and practical development work. I've seen Agros in the fields. I've seen it in the highlands of Guatemala. And Agros is committed to the fundamentals of smart development, land ownership, connecting farmers to markets, helping communities to be healthy and educated, and empowering women and kickstarting entrepreneurs. These are the fundamentals of today's smart aid, and Agros is all over it. If you have a broad worldview and you want to fight hunger like I do, you know that Agros is not a charity. It's a service. Agros gives my compassion leverage. If you're looking for a way to love your neighbor, supporting an NGO like Agros is how I give my love traction. You care because you're here. That's why I'm here. I hope you'll be inspired to join me. Please dig deep and empower the work of Agros with your financial gift. Thank you very much.
Mi nombre es Ana Toma Pérez, estoy presente ahorita en Aldea Sich, donde yo soy el comité de mujer y estamos recibiendo los proyectos. Le dieron para los niños, le dieron leche, le dieron gel, le dieron el bolsa. El bolsa tienen encaparina, mosh y frijoles, azúcar. El Agros ya está trabajando con nosotros y nosotros necesitamos muchos proyectos porque quieres le van a dar nosotros y van a dar siembra, entonces queremos nosotros también. Necesitamos, si queremos, vamos a tejer también. Entonces, el agro queremos mucho, van a trabajar con nosotros en este Coatzal porque ojalá que va a trabajar más años. La primera institución que vinieron aquí porque nosotros nos estamos apoyando de los demás. Estamos abandonados, ninguno viene aquí en Aldea Sich.
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Anna. We love hearing your stories. As Rick said, Agros is a way to help give your compassion traction.
There are so many different ways you can help transform the lives of the families Agros serves. But I want to share 5 concrete ways you can make a difference right now.
Remember, our goal tonight is $400,000. All gifts made before midnight tonight will be doubled by matching funds. It looks like we still have about $75,000 to go before we reach our goal. Please help us meet our match so that we can have the biggest impact possible.
For just $15, you can give a child a week's worth of nutritious milk, making sure she can get a healthy start. $250 will provide a mother with pre- and postnatal care that she needs to help her baby grow up healthy. If you are considering a gift of $1,000, I encourage you to stretch it to $1,500 because $1,500 will provide a child with the healthy and health care they need to grow up healthy in their first 1,000 days of life. For $5,000, you can walk alongside an Agros family for a lifetime by providing their first home. Yes, just $5,000 would build a dignified home with enough room for the whole family. And if you're still dreaming with me, a gift of $10,000 will be doubled by matching funds to provide a village with a goat hub where families can learn to raise goats and launch their own profitable business.
Every dollar raised tonight will help make projects and services like this available to families in need.
And if you've not yet made a gift, this is the moment. Please go to our campaign website now to make your donation. Gifts received in the mail will also be doubled by matching funds.
We want to share a perspective of an Agros family with you. As you listen to their story, consider how you want to make an impact in the lives of our brothers and sisters in rural Latin America.
Before school, before I pray, before the mist has risen from the mountains, I sit to share my story. It begins in one of the poorest countries in the world. My parents are migrants forced to move from harvest to harvest. 3 of every 4 children here go hungry. are hungry, we can't hear our mothers. We can't hear our teachers. We can't hear our dreams. Many nights, supper is my mother's whisper in my ear, te quiero. Ojalá mañana tengamos comida. Now, I'm hungry for a nueva historia, a new story where I farm my own land and call my kids to dinner every night. But why would my story be any different than the generations before me? When my father sees me praying for a new story, he says, Mi corazón, you can't do anything alone. You need the help of family. You need the help of God. So I pray for family, because family tears the last tortilla in half, takes turns with the baby. They walk with you the first mile and the last, and each mile between. Will you be part of my family? My Agros family. My name is Edith, Maria, Samuel, Noemi, Anita. I'm a child. I'm a student and a laborer. One day, with your help, I will be a mother and a graduate, a landowner, and an entrepreneur. My story will be different. If you, my Agros family, hear me now and help, please join me in writing my new story together, como una familia.
After that moving account of hunger in Latin America, I want to remind you of what I've learned in 38 years of working with the poor and the hungry. Each of us can truly make a difference in the lives of Latin American families in need. You can truly make a difference in the lives of our Central American Agros families in need. That's why I'm personally asking you to make a generous gift right now. A donation of even $15 will provide a hungry child with milk for a week. And remember, every dollar given before midnight on October 8th will be doubled by matching funds. So to make your gift, please go to agros.org right now. Thank you in advance for helping your brothers and sisters living in hunger and poverty. Somos Agros, somos Familia. We are Agros, we are family.
Thank you all for joining us tonight, and thank you for being a part of this Agros family. Remember, all the gifts made by midnight tonight will be doubled by matching funds, multiplying the impact of your love and generosity in the lives of families living in hunger and poverty. As Skip said, you can truly make a difference.
We give thanks to God for his faithfulness with Agros over the last 36 years. We are thankful for the opportunity to join him in his transforming story, a story of healing, of hope, and restoration where there has been despair and brokenness. Thank you all for being part of writing a new story for families in rural Latin America.
Thank you again for joining us. That's all from me and Guillermo.
But before we officially sign off, we want to share one more story with you from my colleague in the field in Guatemala, Misael Sanchez. Misael, take it away.
Mi nombre es Juan Misael Sánchez Rodríguez, soy coordinador agrícola por parte de Agros Internacional. Vivo en San Juan Cotzal, uno de los municipios de la región Ixil. Es importante mencionar en mi involucramiento con Agros, cuando yo necesitaba apoyo financiero para seguir mis estudios a nivel de diversificado, ya que me había graduado del tercero básico. Y me recuerdo un día que yo andaba en el campo trabajando, mi hermano mayor llegó conmigo a avisarme que había una reunión por parte de Agros entre los líderes y padres de familia. Era una oportunidad de beca especialmente para las mujeres y jóvenes de las agroaldeas. Venía gente de Chajul, de Cotzal y de Nevaj, y gracias a Dios ahí pasé, clasifiqué dentro del grupo. Al pasar la fase de preselección para poder seguir estudiando en Sololá, en la Universidad del Valle de Guatemala, fue un momento muy emotivo para mí, porque antes de eso le comentaba a mi familia que yo necesitaba salir fuera de la comunidad a estudiar en la capital o en algún otro lugar, y yo le pedía mucho a Dios por conseguir una oportunidad. Entonces creo que aquí es donde viene Agros a cumplir parte del sueño, de la meta, del deseo que yo tenía desde pequeño. Gracias a todos los que apoyan a Agros y que se han unido a nuestra gala Tierras de Vida, desde Honduras hasta Nicaragua, desde Guatemala a los Estados Unidos. No podemos hacer este trabajo sin el apoyo de unos a otros. Somos Agros, somos familia.